hours for EDH. Hey ho, it's time to sail with Mastering Commander.
Ahoy there, and welcome to Mastering Commander. Today we'll be staying below decks, where we discuss a budget build for a commander optimized for fun and interesting gameplay. This time, we'll be talking about Belbe, Corrupted Observer. Belbe is a commander that allows you and your opponents to ramp for large amounts of colorless mana. If that wasn't enough, she incentivizes hurting everyone at the table who isn't you. She accelerates the game, and even encourages your opponents to leave her alive so that they have a chance to benefit from her ability. As a 2-mana commander, you'll reliably be able to play Belbe early and try to take advantage of her ability. Each turn after combat, Belbe will give the active player 2 colorless mana for each of your opponents who lost life this turn. In a 4-player game, that means there's 6 mana up for grabs each turn. The catch is that there's no reward for attacking Belbe's controller. You'll have fun with this deck by sticking a Belbe, playing huge spells, and encouraging your opponents to hurt each other for some extra mana. Your best games will see you spending 8 mana from turn 2 forward, overwhelming the table with the advantages that you accumulate. On the other hand, if you're not able to keep Belbe around, you won't have the mana that your deck is designed around having in the early turns, and you probably won't be able to have much impact later on. With that said, let's take a closer look at what makes this deck work. Your first order of business is finding ways to hurt all of your opponents. 1-drop creatures are perfect for this, since they lead into a turn 2 Belbe, followed by immediate mana. This build runs 5 creatures that only cost 1 mana, but hurt nearly everyone when they attack. Later on, our creatures still attempt to trigger Belbe, but they tend to avoid combat since that becomes more difficult over time. We have some other card types with similar abilities too, which are somewhat more reliable since they are less likely to be caught up in board wipes. Leech-Ridden Swamp is noteworthy as a land that can ping all of your opponents, while Cryptolith Fragment serves the same role as an artifact. Pestilence deserves special mention for its ability to double as a board wipe when times are tight. And Triskaidekaphobia kills are always tempting. If nothing else, there's something enjoyable about asking, is anyone at 13? Every single round. Our next goal is to use the mana we've created in a way that sets us up for success. Ideally, we'll be establishing even more mana, so that we can continue playing our larger cards even if Belbe were to die. We want to play something helpful the turn we put Belbe on the board if possible. The first option is Mana Rocks to secure our mana advantage. Everflowing Chalice scales cleanly with whatever amount of mana Belbe gives you, while Dreamstone Hedron is perfect if you manage to hit everyone in a 4-player game. Another option is Animus Awakening, that'll help you turn all of that extra mana into lands. The other payoffs include Budget Eldrazi and other large critters. An early Breaker of Armies or Ulamog's Crusher can be devastating if no one has an answer. We also take advantage of expensive removal spells and board wipes to catch up if we've fallen behind. Gaze of Granite and Ingarrick's Wake usually spare your own big threats, and will clean up any creature problems that have happened on the other side of the board. Once we have our mana running, our greatest risk is running out of cards to play. The deck includes basic card draw, like Read the Bones and Harmonize, but also has some more unique ways to turn lots of mana into cards. Loreseeker's Stone is easier to use the emptier your hand is, but even if you find yourself stuck with a few cards, you'll usually have the mana to activate it. Damnable Pact is an easy way to net cards from a big Belbe turn as well, and the life is usually not a huge issue to pay. Nissa's Revelation and Return of the Wildspeaker also synergize with your Eldrazi to gain life and draw cards, while Staff of Nin gives you an extra draw for each of your turns. The deck is filled out with plenty of other staples, like Mana Elves and Rocks, targeted removal, and other useful cards. Our price for this deck comes in just under $30 on TCG Player, making it a solid budget option with lots of room to grow. If you're looking for a few upgrades though, we have some options available at various price points. Under $5, Loyal Subordinate is another creature with perfect synergy for Belbe, that will guarantee you're getting your mana each turn she stays in play. Skyclave Relic is a source of ramp that even produces colored mana for you, and Oblivion Sword doubles as a threat and a little ramp if you're lucky. Rounding out our cheaper slots, Conduit of Ruin not only makes your biggest creatures easier to cast, but also finds another payoff so the hits can keep on coming. Opening up towards $10 cards, we can add better threats like Little Ugin for card advantage and ramp again, or even more resilient threats like Phyrexian Triniform. Deathrite Shaman also serves as the ultimate utility knife, giving mana or even triggering Belbe if you can afford the black mana and have an appropriate target, Going above $10, we can drastically improve our threats with cards like Void Winnower and Apex Devastator. Finally, we have the original Ulamog as the ultimate in large threats. It removes a troublesome permanent when you cast it, and is an annihilating, indestructible threat for the rest of the game, however short that may end up being. That's it for Belbe and her Eldrazi friends. Feel free to leave a like, or subscribe and tune in next week for a Minotaur who just can't seem to stay away from the red zone. Thanks for watching, and I wish you fair winds and following seas.
Belbe, why you gotta be hurting everybody else, hurting everybody else? Oh, but Belbe, girl, just can't you see when you're hurting everybody at the table, you're really just hurting yourself, hurting yourself, you're really just hurting yourself.